Okay, so I haven't... Okay. This is a nightmare I may not be ready to live through.
I started getting crushes on boys.
Real embarrassed about this.
My mouth gets the best of me pretty much all the time.
Okay, I'm just like, how do... Okay. All right.
There we go.
Hey everybody, you're listening to We Still Like You, the embarrassing storytelling show where we invite people to come, get up on stage, and tell us their most shameful, gut-wrenching, embarrassing story. I'm Jesse Batend.
And I'm Danny Gallegos.
Back with me again, Danny Gallegos, co-creator, originator, and we're going to get to our stories here in just a moment. But first, Danny, there's a fact of life. Tell me if you've also noticed this. Whenever anyone in your friend group gets a car, suddenly there's this like, oh shit, our area of like chaos has just expanded. Like,
yeah.
We can go mess with other friends. We can drive to another neighborhood where they're not going to know where our parents are.
Mm-hmm. We can go to another state to go to their fast food restaurants.
I also will say, every now and then you would get in the car with somebody, mm-hmm. and all of your friends were going somewhere and you were leaving a place, and you all get in the car and you're like, where are we going? And they're just like, don't worry about it. And like, that's not... did that never happen to you?
No.
This happened to me a lot, and it was usually when girls were driving.
What?
Weird thing. But they would just like, this one girl, Basha, she'd be like, wait, so where are we going again? And she'd be like, don't worry about it.
And then where would you end up?
Like at with her friends at a party that she was taking us all to, which leads really beautifully, I think, into the kind of like topic overall for this particular episode, because both of the stories that we have today are about like the scary kind of transportation, which is the kind of transportation you can't get off.
Yeah. Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Boats,
wow.
trains, planes, like, well, as you'll hear, crazy shit can happen.
Oh, yeah.
For our first story, it's a bus, but it's a bus in a foreign country.
Do we speak the language?
No, we don't.
Fuck.
And we're going to get in a whole lot of trouble. Up first, from Louisville, here is Ben Bartley.
Okay, here's my story. Have you ever been asleep and farted so loud that you woke yourself up and you're like, oh no, I'm on a bus? So I've done that a lot, and this is one of those stories. In 2001 and 2002, I moved to Hiroshima, Japan. I worked for a baseball team over there, the Hiroshima Carp. And after my contract got done, I had like this certain set of money, like that I was just going to go and travel Southeast Asia. I had never been, I grew up in Kansas. I'd never been to that part of the world, so I wanted to go check it out. I had never been. But as soon as I burned through that money, I was flying home. I was coming back and going to get a job and grow up and that kind of stuff. So I had that money, and one of the countries I went to was Thailand. And I had goofed around there, and it was a small amount of money, and so I was living cheap, like I was staying in hotels, or hostels really, where it was like $3 a night. Like I now pay more for a cup of Starbucks than I did for the place I fucking slept, back then. And it was a lifestyle that I liked, it was before I was married, before I had kids and all this stuff. But one time I was gonna travel from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, which is way up in the north, and it's a 12-hour bus ride. And I was like, well, if I leave in the evening and then arrive in the morning, I don't have to pay for a hotel that night. I'm like, oh, sweet, this is awesome. I'll just sleep on the bus. And I don't have to pay for a night of a hotel and save some money. And so that was my plan, right? Turns out I bought a ticket for a Thai karaoke bus. Now, and so like I knew something was wrong when everybody was getting on the bus with like a case of beer, except for fucking me. And I'm like, wow, these people are really gonna have a great bus ride. But we pulled out of the bus station, and immediately Thai music comes on the TV, and everyone starts singing along. Now, it's not like one person up in front with a microphone. It's like, there's 40 rows of seats, and everyone is singing the same song that's on TV. And I was like, oh, shit, what did I do? This is going to be... And at first, it was kind of fun. About the first hour of Thai music, I was like, this is okay. This is all right for an hour. And then 2 hours went by. Everybody's getting hammered and singing songs. I'm getting tired. And 3 hours goes by, and I'm like, oh, fuck this. This was a terrible decision. So I'm trying to sleep. And at about 10:30 at night, the bus stops, and the doors open, and it's like the Thai highways where I was. It's like a real narrow, dangerous place, and they had this little hut that was like their convenience store or something like that on the side of the road. And I was like, oh, okay, we're stopping for food. I better get something to eat. So I bought what I thought was like an orange juice and a roll. That's what I thought I was buying. But then I started drinking it, and it was actually like this orange-flavored milk, like a dreamsicle had melted. And the roll actually had some kind of meat in the middle of the roll. And so I bit into it, and it was like, I want to think it was pork. I don't know. It was greasy, like a goose or something like that. I'm not sure what it was. But I ate the whole thing, and I felt fucking terrible from my orange milk and my weird pork roll. And so I was like, God, I was like, maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I just need to get some sleep. So, I kind of like bunch up. I'm sitting up against the window. There's a Thai guy, drunk as hell, and singing his ass off sitting next to me. We don't speak each other's language. We're being friendly, but nothing to talk about. So I just go to sleep. And like I'm laying there, and I could feel my stomach going. And I was like, oh man, I don't feel good. Maybe I'm just tired. And then at the exact moment that I thought, oh, I'm gonna be sick, I threw up. And I was trying to get to the bathroom, so I'm in the second row of this 40-row bus, and the bathrooms are in the back. And so I tried to take a step over the guy, and I realized I'm gonna throw up on this fucking guy, And instead of throwing up on him, I pulled my shirt up like a bowl, and I went like on top. And the guy, he was like, what the fuck? He didn't say, what the fuck are you doing? But I know what the fuck are you doing in Thai means, because he went, ah! And I was like, I don't know. And so I took a step over top of him, and my body is just in full evacuation mode. Like, it is trying to get everything out of every orifice. So as I'm running towards the bathroom in the back, with every step, shit is coming out of my pants. So if anyone wants to know if you can throw up and shit at the same time, the answer is yes, you can. Don't fucking try it, because it's terrible. So I'm throwing up into my shirt while shitting my pants, running backwards on a Thai bus, going, and everyone's like watching me go by, and I have no idea how sick I am. So I get back to the bathroom, finally, like I make it back there, and I just fucking throw up for about 2 hours and shit everywhere in this bathroom. Fortunately, there were 2 bathrooms on this bus, and so I occupied one for about 2.5 hours, and I sat in that bathroom. Now, also, like, a Thai bathroom is not like ours where you have a flushable toilet and shit. What it is you have a metal square, and you have a basin of water back here. And what you do to flush is there's a little bowl that you take the basin of water, and you throw the water into the toilet, and then you push a lever, and you see the fucking ground with all, your water and shit going onto the highway. And so this is where I am for 2.5 or 3 hours, right, of this bus ride. And I kept dry heaving, like, my body, like, it was trying to shit, but nothing was coming out. And everything was, like, terrible. And I kept thinking, I was like, well, maybe I'm dry heaving because my clothes are smelling so bad, right? And so I took my shirt and I threw it out the fucking bus window, still dry heaving. I'm like, oh, these fucking pants are terrible. Throw those out the fucking bus window. And I've got my underwear, right? And I'm trying to clean my fucking underwear they're off. So all I'm wearing is a pair of shoes, and I'm totally naked in a Thai bus. And I've got them like over the edge of the little metal bowl thing, and I'm splashing water on them like that. And I splash too hard, and my underwear fall out the bottom of the fucking bus. And I'm just like, fuck. And you know what's funny? I'm so sick, I literally don't give a shit that I'm fucking naked, except for a pair of tennis shoes on this Thai bus. And my backpack with my other clothes is at row 2, right? And so like, now it's like 2 o'clock in the morning probably. I'm in this bathroom so long, and I'm like, well, maybe everybody's asleep now. So I just fucking peek out the door. And, fuck, everybody's still awake and they're drunk. So I grabbed the bowl, the thing that I was splashing with, and I put the bowl over my privates. And as proudly as I could, I walked back to my seat just like this. And as I'm walking forward through the bus, the rows get quieter, like people stop singing to watch the naked fucking white guy walk, because everybody's like, what's this guy gonna fucking do? Why? You know, like, everybody's like, is he gonna try to get off the bus? You know, like, where's he going? And so I get up to my seat, and by now the bus is totally silent, looking at the naked guy with a bowl over his crotch, you know? And so I go to grab my backpack, and the guy who I almost threw up on looks up at me, and like, he looks at me and doesn't say it, but I know he's thinking, you're not gonna sit down, are you? And I'm like, looking at him like, no, I'm not gonna fucking sit down. And I grab my backpack and I put it over my butt, and I walk back like this with a bowl in front of me. I get some clothes, and we arrive at Chiang Mai at about 6 in the morning, and I was gonna spend the day like doing touristy crap there, but I just went straight to my hotel where I wasn't supposed to check in until about like 3 o'clock that afternoon. And when I got there, the hotel owner was like, I walked up to him, and I was going to try to tell him how sick I was because I had thrown up so hard. I had broken blood vessels in my eyes, and my eyes were all completely red, like I'd been in a fight. And he goes, "What happened?" And I was like, "I think it's food poisoning." And he's like, he's like, "What'd you eat?" And I was like, "An orange milk and some kind of roll." And he's like, "Oh yeah, don't drink that orange milk." I was like, "Oh fucking now you tell me, thanks." And I had paid for like a hostel room at this place, and he put me in a private room. He's like, "I'll take care of you, don't worry." And he put me in a private room, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be here till tonight." He's like, "Don't worry about it, just go get some rest. I'm going to take care of you." And he arranged a taxi, an interpreter. He spoke really good English, but he didn't know medical terms, and he was worried about me. So he had a friend who had studied medicine in the United States, told him to come to the hotel, and those guys, plus the taxi driver, took me to a hospital, and they hooked me up to, when I got there, the doctor was trained in the United States, and he spoke perfect English and knew about Chicago Cubs baseball and all this crap, whatever. And he spoke to me in perfect English, so I had the interpreter, the hotel owner, the fucking taxi driver stayed, and the doctor all trying to take care of me. They're hooking me up with IVs. They gave me rehydration packets. They gave me a Z-Pack and all this shit. And I stayed in the hospital for 36 hours. And I don't have medical insurance at this time. So I'm like, oh, my trip's fucking over. This is all my money going into this hospital. And so I go to check out of the hospital after a 36-hour stay in the hotel and, just excellent care. And I was like, well, God, I wonder how much this is going to be. And so I go to the checkout guy, and I'm like, hey, thank you guys so much. How much do I owe you? And he goes, and I'm thinking like $5,000, $6,000. I'm like, oh, fuck, how I can open a credit card or something like that. And he goes, $490. And I go, $490? That's it? And he goes, 490 baht. Now, a Thai baht, it takes 43 Thai baht to make $1 US. I stayed in a Thai hotel for 36 hours for $7. And I don't care where you are politically, but what I learned from this fucking story is our system is fucked up. We got to get some priorities straight. If you don't like Obamacare, who gives a fuck? We need to take care of each other, and that's my story. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.
Comedian Ben Bartley.
Coming up next, even more nudity. Coming up next, nudity on the high seas.
Whoa.
As Jacob Lowrey gets kicked off not one, but two boats. It's the on.
Yeah. I remember booking Jacob. It was about 2 years ago now, almost. I remember him like Facebook messaging me. I've never told this story before. I'm very nervous. I'm pretty sure he told me that he had like thrown up earlier that day, just like thinking about doing the story.
Yeah, this one is a doozy. And it really like starts, both of these stories in today's episode just like start off with a bang. I feel like we've built him up enough. From Chicago, here's Jacob Lowrey.
I wake up in my girlfriend at the time's apartment, and I'd kind of like moved in without her permission, but she was cool with it, but her parents weren't, so we couldn't tell anyone. And the first thing I see is her looking at me, and it's the morning, and she kind of smiles warmly at me. And at that time, if I would have known that that is the last time she would have woken up looking at me thinking, I love this person, I might have done things the rest of the day entirely differently. But I didn't know that, so I woke up and I immediately started a fight because I was very hungover. It's been 478 days since I have had a drink myself. 478 days. And unfortunately, this story didn't take place within those 478 days. It took place way before that, and that's why it sucks. I had one of those flu-like hangovers where there are nails in your head and you want to throw up and you just want to either drink beers all day or lay in bed all day. And we couldn't do either of those because it was like one of those 3-day weekends and we had to go down to southern Oklahoma to get on a boat with her friends. And I didn't want to do that because A, her friends sucked ass, and B, her friends sucked major ass. I hated them a lot. I didn't grow up rich like they did. But I didn't grow up in southern Oklahoma, so it was weird. So they saw me as, like, white trash. But, like, you grew up in southern Oklahoma, so who's the trash, right? So I tried to start a fight to get out of it, which is just, like, really smart. Because then you're in a car for 2 hours in a fight. But I used all my charm, and she let me have a couple of what I call my patented road medicines. And she's where I drink in the car and she drives. I said, come on, Daddy needs his medicine. Let's take these meds on the road. And she was like, no, please don't. And I just did anyway. So we got down there, and the resentment is building. And I don't want to be there. It's hot, and I'm angry. And we stop at this like full-service gas station. And I'm like, this is fucked up. You're just making this guy pump your gas? She's like, oh, yeah, and we're using my dad's account. And like the guy comes out, and it's like really deferential to her because her dad like has a lot of money. And we go to her parents' house before we get to the boat, and then we're like talking and she's making chit-chat, and I kind of like wink, like her mom makes me like a secret cocktail. And I drink that in the bathroom, and then she's like, yeah, Jacob got rear-ended yesterday. It was like really bad. Like his back is all messed up, and then his car almost got totaled. And her dad just looked at me and goes, should have gotten those brake lights checked, I guess. I was like, well, I was at a red light. And he goes, exactly. I was like, oh, you just fucking hate me as much as I hate you. I see what's going on. Let's go to the boat. Fuck you. So we get to this boat, and it's like a really nice boat. It's like a yacht and on this lake in southern Oklahoma called Lake Texoma. And we get there, and I still have a little booze in my system, and there's a guy wearing cowboy boots on the boat, and I think that's silly. So first thing I say is, excuse me, Big Tex, and that's like someone's like nephew who's important. I don't know. And we sit down, and there's a big picture of sangria, and I was like, what is this? And someone goes, that's sangria. And I was like, let's do a little living like Antonio Banderas today, shall we? And that got like a big laugh from everyone on the boat, and I was like, okay, this is cool. They're going to like me. This is going to be okay. They don't suck ass so bad. And I had never had sangria in my entire life, but I knew what it was, so I just started slugging it. I would just like fill up a cup, drink it, fill up a cup, drink it, fill up a cup, drink it, and I just get shit-faced in like 45 minutes. And I get up, and I'm like going mosey into the bathroom, right? And while I'm going to the bathroom, there's this very old woman. And there had just been this tornado in Oklahoma that was like one of the more devastating tornadoes in the recent history. And everyone needed everyone's help. And I hear her go, yeah, I'm not giving a damn cent to the Red Cross because they're all liberals. And I go, excuse me, I'm just passing by this fucking idiot. And I said that out loud to the old woman. I was on that old woman's boat. This was the grandma's, the matron of the family. So I get delegated to a smaller boat. 100% true. They moved me to a smaller boat like they realized I wasn't old enough to sit at the big kids table at Thanksgiving. And we're like on the boat with like other people my age, like other kids our age. I'm like, this sucks. And then there's beers on the boat. And I'm like, okay, this boat rules. And so I keep drinking beers, and it's like an hour passes, and this guy's like, hey, you want to hit this joint? I'm like, yes. And so I get high, and then I'm given some pills. I don't know what they are. I take them, and then I keep drinking beers. And then I'm trying to start the boat. It's like one of those boats with the ripcord thing. And I get the engine started, and I'm going over to that weird lever thing you pulled on to make it go, and people are like running down. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? And I looked a grown man in the eyes with a Labatt Blue in my hand, and I said, I'm going to see if this fucker can get some air. Guess who got promoted back to the big boat, baby? Yours truly. So they try to like sober me up. They're like tricking me into like giving me like solo cups full of ice water. And it's not working though, because I drank too much, too fast. I'm just getting drunker and more belligerent. I'm saying fucked up things to people like I don't like them. I'm like, telling them I don't like them to their faces, just being an asshole. And finally they're like, okay, we're going to put you in this bed and you're going to sleep this off. You're going to sleep this afternoon off. And my girlfriend at the time takes me into the room and she's like, you fucking idiot. Like, these are my family's friends. These are my friends. You're embarrassing me so bad. I've never been angry at you. I don't know if I can forgive you. I was like, are you going to stay in here with me? And she's like, no. I was like, I don't want to lay down the boat bed. And she's like, well, I don't have to lay down the boat bed because I'm not the one being the asshole. And she leaves. And I'm just laying there for what seems like 3 hours, but I guess it was like 15 minutes. And I walk out. I thought this was going to be hilarious. I walk out in my boxers, and remember that old lady I called the fucking idiot earlier? Her silk robe. And I said, hey... I like announced like this whole table full of people and my girlfriend and everyone that was there. I said, hey, guess who found some more Labatts? And then it's like curtains down like Looney Tunes. Like, that's all, folks. Like, I don't remember anything. And then I come to at my girlfriend's parents' house, sitting next to her dad on the couch, and it's like 10:30 at night. And the urgency of the situation does not register with me at all. I don't know what's happening. I'm just hammered. And I just look at him, and I just remember this one time we had like a very civil conversation about Tom Brady. So I try to bring up Tom Brady a bunch, and he just looks at me like he wants to hit me. And then the curtains go back down. And I wake up, I'm on my side, and I feel some weight on the bed, and I roll over. And she's sitting there, and she's staring at me, and she's rubbing my leg, like, affectionately. And I hadn't woken up like that since high school when my mom caught me drinking for the first time. And she was looking at me, and I could tell by the look in her eyes that she didn't love me anymore. And she was just worried about me and who I was going to become. And I was like, fuck. I go, where are we? Like, and she goes, we're at my parents' house, and my mom left something for you on the counter. And I go, okay, that's fine. I go to the counter, and it's 2 aspirin, a whole glass of water. That's nice, right? And then there's a note that's being held down by an empty bucket of chicken that says, hey, Jacob, enjoy the aspirin and the water. Wish we could offer you some chicken, but you ate it all in front of us. So, this is what I've been told happened when I got home. I marched in. I called her dad a fucking idiot to his face. I go up to this bucket. They had KFC for dinner. And I go up to the bucket, and I go, I fuck with the Colonel, and I just picked up the bucket and ate everything out of it in front of him. And her dad is like, we got to get this guy in the shower. And so he like puts me in a cold shower, and he comes back to check on me, and he's like, he's not in the shower, where is he? And I was in her little sister's bathroom taking a shit completely naked. And he gets me in the shower, and I get out of the shower. And I have the towel. I go, hey, Mr. Healy? And he goes, yes, Jacob. And he kind of turns around the hall. And I whipped off the towel, go, look at my dick! And that's when they put me to bed. And it's funny. Everything that happened is objectively funny. But I loved this young woman, and I wanted to marry her, and this, like, sealed the deal. This, like, shut the door on all of that. And that night, those actions that I did because I was drinking made her not love me anymore. And this guilt is still some guilt I carry around as heavy and as dark and black as an anvil. And I've tried to apologize to her 3 times, and 3 times she said no. Like, I don't want to hear from you. And I don't know if I'll ever get closure on it. I don't know if she'll ever forgive me. I don't know if she has forgiven me or not. I do know that she did marry a very wealthy doctor recently. So fuck yeah. Hands up, hands for her. Round of applause for her. But they probably go to lame shit, and they're not hanging out here with fine people like you. We still like you. So I think I won that one. Thank you guys very much. I've been Jacob.
Keep it one more time for Jacob Lowrey. Jesus Christ. He's a corker.
Comedian Jacob Lowrey. One more thing before we get out of here for this episode. Ben Bartley from Louisville had like a little sort of future message for his kids. He came and told the story. He's got 3 kids, I believe. They were at home with a babysitter. His wife came to see the story as well, and he had kind of a future message to deliver to them through the podcast. So here's that, and then and we'll see you next time.
My kids, maybe 20 years they're listening to this on the internet. They're not here tonight. I'm not gonna cry. To my kids, you know this by now, but I am wildly unqualified to be your dad. Tonight, your mom's here, I'm here. Where the fuck are you? You are at home with a fucking neighbor's high schooler that I trust more to raise you than I trust myself, Like, I left you with a fucking teenager. And I'm sure by now you're listening to this, you're like 20 years old and in therapy and the shit like that, but you know that I'm unqualified. And since my daughter, who's 5, since she's been able to talk, and my son, who's 8, you guys have been saying something to me a lot that proves that I'm not qualified to be a dad. And that is, you guys both say this. You say, I know you love him more than you love me, or I know you love her more than you love me. And that's just for, purposes of the internet, we're recording this. That's not how my love works. My love, I'm like the sun, and I have the same amount of love coming out of me. And you guys can choose to be as warm as you want to. And I'm sure there's points in your life where you're going to go away to college in some fucking cold place like stupid Wisconsin or some bullshit, and you're going to get cold over the course of your life, and it's not going to feel like I'm there. But I'm still there. I'm still warming you up. And be clear, kids, like kids, I want you to know that your mom is the equator. And, so I'm trying to get her warm first. I met her before you guys, fuck you guys compared to your mom. Seriously, your mom's the equator, but you guys are like 1 degree latitude north and south of that equator. Like, come as close to the middle as you want. And I think the thing that makes me feel unqualified is like, I know that I have to turn you into your own son, and so that you can have, nuclear fusion of love and warm up your own solar system. And I don't know how to fucking do that. I hope by the time you're listening to this that it happened, and I love you guys. Okay, so here's my fucking story.
I think that does it for this episode. I hope if you're listening in the car, drive safe.
Thanks for listening.
And that does it for this episode of We Still Like You. But that doesn't mean you can't still share your shame with us. You can tweet us a story or tag us on Instagram, and we'll remind you that we like you. And you might even hear your story on a future episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, do us a favor and tell someone about it. You'll never know how much it actually helps. If you really want to do us a solid, sign up to support the show on Patreon. A couple bucks a month helps us make the show better and gets you something cool. If you want to tell a story at one of our live shows, check out the submission page. You can find that at westilllikeyou.com. Find us on Facebook to get tickets to shows. We're on Instagram at We Still Like You. We tweet at We Still Like You. A huge shout out to We Still Like You original creators Dan Sheehan, Danny Gallegos, Tyler Snodgrass, and J. Michael Osborne. Without their horrible behavior, we'd never have a show. I'm Jesse Batend, and as always, thanks for being your terrible selves.